Right, so I like to say Barak Yahweh, Barak Shah, Barak Yahweh, Barak Shah, Bahashim Rakahakadash, the bonus, the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. This is the book of Amos 1 and 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Right, so this is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 41. And the scripture says, And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then would I slay my brother Jacob. So let me read that back. Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then would I slay my brother Jacob. So going back to the book of Amos, chapter 1, verse 11, the scripture says, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So Esau, Edom, being a so-called white man, right? And Jacob being the so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans. So the Lord's vengeance is going to be upon the enemies of Israel, right? So getting the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 1, and the scripture says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord of power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Right? So let me get that back from the first verse, Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesied against it. And who dwelt within Mount Seir? Well, let's get it. Genesis chapter 36, verse 8. And the scripture says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Now, when you go into this word, Esau,
H 62:15. Esau,
right, which means eldest son of Isaac, Rebekah, twin brother of Jacob, sold the birthright for food when he was hungry, and the divine blessing went to Jacob, progenitor of the Arab people, and that's not true, right? So you gotta be careful with the you gotta be careful with the blue letter, but the meaning of Esau means wasted away, right, or hairy, right? So that's why, the apostles always tell you to be careful with the blue letter, man. Genesis 36:8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom, and that word Edom goes back to Edom, which means red. And why did they call him red or wasted away? Due to the fact that his blood shows forth through his skin. As you can see on the screen, all these guys are red as hell. Genesis 36:8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. Right? So, going back into the book of Ezekiel 35 and 4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, which is you so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9 tell you there's no new thing under the sun. So that which was happening during those times are happening now. As you can see, Jake is being slain, choked up, shot on live TV. And even before then, before it was caught on cameras and video and things like that, Jake was being slayed, by a multitude, right? So Esau is taking Jake out even when Jake wasn't on a video camera. Now it's just all being seen. Why? Because the Most High is revealing the wickedness of the so-called white man. So again, Ezekiel 35 and 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Saith, thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passes out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee a perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter, let's see here. Salakia, bear with me for a second here. It slipped my mind. Bear with me for a minute here. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35. And it says, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. So this is the book of Ezekiel. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse, actually, $35. This is Salakia, bear with me for a second here. So this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 25, verse 12, and it says, thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah, right, by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the den shall fall by the sword. I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord. So there you go. So the Most High vengeance is gonna come down upon Esau, Edom. Also, a good book to read is Who is Esau, Edom? That's also a good book to read. It gets into a lot of good history. Just you brothers with understanding. You can pull the bones out of it. They're always going to throw some nonsense in there too, so be careful with that. But other than that, I'm going to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, double honors the apostles and elders of GMS. And salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'd like to say Shalom.